program. We present Will Hay in the Diary of a Schoolmaster. Our old friend, Dr. Muffin, the justly renowned headmaster of St. Michael's School for Boys, has just returned from his holidays. He's now back at Mrs. Potts. Mrs. Potts' semi-detached bijou villa in his old status of paying guest. And we find Mrs. Potts with her young son, Alfie, in her cozy kitchen dining room, surrounded by fumed oak and the fragrant odor of frying breakfast bacon.
I really can't get over Dr. Muffin since he came back from his holiday. I never knew such a change in a man.
Don't worry. The only change you get out of him is 5 dud tanners for $1.
No, then you mustn't talk like that, Alfie. He's been paying me ever so regular since he got back. Do you think someone left their money to him while he was away?
More likely left their money on the mantelpiece while he was around there.
Alfie, you shouldn't say such hateful things. It's almost confirmation of character. You ought to remember we've got a lot to be thankful for. What with Dr. Muffin turning over a new leaf and Mr. Brown turning out to be such a model paying guest in every way, why, anything you want, you've only got to ask him.
Blimey, how you ask?
Now, that's not kind of you, Alfie. Besides, Mr. Brown says it's a pleasure. He says we should all try to help each other.
So you help yourself to his sugar ration?
Oh, you do say the most shocking things, Elsie. Oh, here comes Mr. Brown. Morning, Mr. B.
Morning, Mrs. Potts. Morning, Alfie. What's your Brown?
Alfie, be more respectable now. I've got your breakfast all ready for you, Mr. Brown.
Oh, thank you very much, I'm sure. This weather fair gives you an appetite, don't it? Makes me real sharp set.
You'll need a sharp set for that lot, all right, top and bottom.
What a lovely nature this little chap of yours has got, Mrs. Potts.
Oh, do you think so, Mr. B?
Yes.
There now, Alfie. Mr. B says you've got a nice nature.
Yes, the nicest nature of any worm I've ever known.
Mummy called me a worm.
And I've known a few in my time.
Mr. Brown, I'm surprised at you, calling my boy horrible names. Next thing you'll be insulting me, I expect.
You expect right.
Go on, have a go, Mum. Go on.
Alfie, how could you?
Well, for once I'm on his side. Now, from what I can see, all I'm expected to do is to wear me feet out, fetching and carrying, and sit here and be insulted by this secret weapon of a son of yours. What with me running your errands and you pinching my ration...
I've never been so insulted in my life. And if you think for 1 minute that I'm going to put up with this sort of treatment from a mean-minded wretch of a man like you, if you call yourself a man, you better just put on your thinking cap and think again. Mr. Brown, when I think of all that I've done for you...
Oh, you do your grandmother for half a crown.
Don't you dare!
Go on, Mum. I'll let you do one of my Mum. Go on,
Now,
Mum.
I'll tell you what it is. I'm not going to put up with your skid-feet thieving ways another day.
And I'll tell you what, Mr. B, you can pack up your bags and get out of here this moment.
Oh, I will.
Good morning, everybody. Just a jolly little family party, I see. Anything the matter, Mrs. Potts?
Well, it seems that... Oh, it doesn't matter.
Oh, but it does matter very much, Mrs. Potts. I can't stand by and see a landlady unhappy, particularly my landlady. Look at him coming over all chivalrous. Oh, well, if it isn't dear little Alfie. I bet you're the bottom of all this trouble.
Well, of course he is, the little scorpion.
It wasn't anything to do with Alfie. Me and Mr. Brown was just having a few words.
Few words, huh? They sounded more like a couple of cats singing carols. Come now, I'm sure we can easily settle this little difference, Mrs. Potts. Mr. Brown will apologise for anything he said in the heat of the moment, won't you, Mr. Brown?
Well, if I had my way, I'd sew the old sausage up in a sack and sling her in the canal.
But,
of course, you've got to make the best of things these days, haven't you?
Well, he couldn't say fairer than that, could he, Mrs. Potts?
Very well, Mr. B. I accept your apology. For Dr. Muffin's sake, mind you.
There you are. You see, Mr. Brown, Mrs. Potts would do anything for my sake, wouldn't you, Mrs. Potts? Watch out, Ma. This'll cost you something if you're not careful. Shut up, you.
Don't take no notice of him, Dr. Muffin. Of course, you know, I'm always glad to do anything for you. Was there something particular you were wanting at the moment?
Well, yes, Mrs. Potts. As a matter of fact, there is a small favour you could do me. Here it comes. Don't I didn't warn you, Mum, now. Are you sure Alfie hasn't any Japanese blood in him, Mrs. Potts?
Dr. Muffin, what do you mean?
Well, compared with that boy, Tojo's just a beginner. we'll let that pass for the moment. As I was about to say, Mrs. Potts, I should be very much obliged if you could do a little job for me.
Of course, Dr. Muffin. What is it?
Well, you're very clever at washing, aren't you, Mrs. Potts?
Well, I'm sure I do my best. Of course, these days it's not easy. I mean, one has to make a little bit of soap go a very long way.
Yeah, well, I'm sure Alfie will be a big help to you in that way.
Oh, yes, he turns the mangle for me.
No, I mean he helps you to save the soap. So he turns the mangle, does he?
Wish he'd catch his head in it.
What's that, Mr. B?
He said he wishes he'd catch his head in it, that's all. Well, I want to ask you, Mrs. Potts, would you do a little washing for me every week?
Oh, certainly, Dr. Muffin. I'd gladly even sat a couple of shirts a week for you.
A couple of shirts? He's only got one shirt. He wears a rubber dickie.
I do not.
Oh, yes, you do. I've seen you clean it on Saturday night.
Oh, no, you haven't.
Oh, yes, I have, with a bit of India rubber.
That's where you're wrong, you see. It was a bit of thread. Well, that's settled, Mrs. Potts. You'll take on my little bits of washing I may have to do, will you?
Oh, yes, of course I will, Dr. Muffin.
Of course, I should be very glad to pay you something extra, you know. Say, shilling a week.
Don't you take that, Mum.
Just don't talk with your mouth full, Alfie. It's not polite. Well, would that be agreeable to you, Mrs. Potts?
Well, I mean...
Of course, if I should have rather a big bundle one week, I could perhaps make it 1 and 6. Well, that's settled then. Good.
Well, I must be getting along to work now. Morning, all. It just goes to show, don't it?
Goes to show what?
Why, it just goes to show.
Bit early to be going to a show, isn't it?
Dr. Muffin, if you'd like to let me have the things you want washed before you go this morning, I could do them today, and then they'll be ready for the weekend. I don't suppose there's very much, is there?
No, just a few odd things, you know. Why not wait till this evening? I can help you sort them out while Alfie's doing his homework.
I'm going to the dogs.
That's perfectly obvious.
Well, where are the things you want washed, Dr. Muffin?
Well, they're in that suitcase of mine in the corner.
Oh, yes, you brought it back with you from school yesterday, now didn't you?
Yes.
I'll bring it over here.
Oh, don't bother. We'll go over there and check it together while Alfie finishes his breakfast.
Very well.
Here we are.
I'll put it down here. Quite heavy, isn't it? Now, shall I open it?
I'll open it. Here we are. There it is.
Oh, what's that? There are rather a lot of things, aren't there?
Well, you know how it is, Mrs. Potts. So difficult to find a laundry that'll take your things these days. Before you know where you are, you've got a suitcase full of dirty clothes.
Yes, so I see. What a lot of vests you've got, Dr. Muffin.
Oh, I don't know.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7,
That's all.
and 9 shirts. Cool, what state they're in, all covered with ink stains.
Oh, just the marks of honest toil, you know.
Aren't all these things very small for you, Dr. Muffin?
Are they?
Very small indeed. I wouldn't have thought you could have ever got into them.
Well, of course, you know, they've got shrunk by the laundry I've been sending them to before. That's the reason I wanted you to do them in future. Because, of course, you're so very clever with washing, aren't you? All day to say so.
Dr. Muffin, I'm sure it's very kind of you to say so. But however I'm going to unshrink these vests, I don't know.
Well, I thought that when they were wet, you might hang them up and let Alfie swing on them. But, of course, I'm not an expert on those matters.
Go on, if ever there was an expert on swinging it, it's you.
Eugene, get on with your breakfast.
I've finished it.
But it didn't finish you. Oh, are you going, Mrs. Potts?
Yes, I must run along to the shops now. I do like to be early. Now, Alfie, dear, finish sorting those things out and make me a nice list, will you?
Yes, Mummy.
No, don't you trouble to do this, Alfie.
Oh, it's no trouble. I'd like to. As a matter of fact, I intend to.
Ah.
Good morning, Dr. Muffin, and don't you worry. I'll get everything done for you.
Morning.
She's the one who's getting done, if you ask me.
Well, I'm not asking you. Just shut up and get on with your washing.
16, 17, 18, 19. Blimey, 19 collars?
Well, the man in my position's got to keep up appearances.
Since when have you been wearing Eton collars, I'd like to know.
Oh, you'd like to know that, would you?
Yes, I would like to know it.
Well, tell the truth.
Don't try and do impossibilities. Go on.
Well, as a matter of fact, for your information, I've been wearing them a long time now.
Well, I've never seen you.
Well, never seen me wear Eton collars?
No.
Of course you haven't. I don't wear them here.
No?
I keep them at school and put them on when I get there.
What for?
Well, I just thought it was obvious. If I wear the same kind of collar as the boys, it looks better, a sort of kind of uniform.
Oh, I see. What size do you take?
Well, that rather depends, doesn't it?
Depends on what?
Well, you know as well as I do that different makes of collars vary in size.
Yeah, looks like it is 3 12.5s, 6 13s, about a dozen 14s. Looks a bit fishy. Wait a minute, it's 1 16.5.
Ah, well, I've had that a long time. It's got stretched with the washing.
Of course, I say, these collars, vests and shirts, they wouldn't belong to the boys at your school by any chance, would they?
Belong to the boys at my school?
Yes.
Do you think I'll ask your mother to do their washing for them?
Yes, I do.
Yeah. Oh. What on earth the reason could I have for doing such a thing?
They pay you and you don't pay nothing.
Well, I've never heard such a disgraceful suggestion in my life.
Is my pal Smart still at your school?
Yes, he is. He's been giving me a lot of trouble lately, too. Still, I suppose it's all I expect from a friend of yours.
Darcy still there?
Darcy? Oh, yes, he's still there. Nice man and boy. I find it rather difficult to teach him anything.
You're telling me. See, how much you charge old Beckett for his laundry?
Same as the others, 12 articles for... Hey, what's he got to do with you? Matter of fact, Beckett's work's been improving lately. He's,
Wait, you were saying?
I was going to tell you about Beckett's homework.
Oh, no, you weren't. I caught you good and proper. This laundry comes from your boys.
Well, what of it? You know how difficult it is to get laundry done nowadays? It's up to me and try and help the boys. I feel it's my duty.
Oh, so that's the game, eh? Aboard the dirty, rotten old twisters. So you're going to make my poor old mum do all this washing. You pay her a bob for the lot and collect the best part of a quid for yourself and the boys. But you're not going to get away with it, see? I'll tell mum all about it, and I'll tell my pal Spart, and I'll tell the board of governors of your school.
Oh, you will?
Yes, I will. Unless you cut me in on this racket.
Yeah. Oh, so you want me to cut you in on it, eh?
Yes.
So that's it. You'd even twist your own mother.
What do you think you're doing?
Well, she's not my mother, is she?
We'll do a two-way split, 50-50. Or else?
I see, 50-50, eh?
Yes. And I'll be keeping a check on your mind.
And how do you propose doing that?
I'll make out a list in duplicate, see?
Oh, a list of duplicates, eh?
Yes. And I'd like something in advance. And something substantial.
Ah, so you want something in advance?
Yes, I do.
Something substantial?
Yes.
Yes, well, take it.
Oh!
And take it in duplicate.
Oh! No!
Now Stanley Black mounts the rostrum to conduct the dance orchestra in a piece written for this program by that very much up-and-coming young British composer, Leighton Lucas. It's a variation on a theme in swing tempo. And what theme could be more appropriate than Home Sweet Home? Meanwhile, Dr. Muffin is wending his way to school. Here the scholars wait his coming in that atmosphere of studious and cloistered quiet, redolent of all that we know of St. Michael's School. Let's go over and join them.
Come on, look at this. Look what he's done.
Come on, give me my
What a dog.
Look here, I say.
I don't care what you say. I'm having the desk by the window.
Here, why do you want the desk by the window, Small?
Well, I don't want it for fresh air. I'm going to sit there so I can chuck ink balls on the townies.
I shall make it my duty to inform the headmaster.
Yes, you do, and I'll scrag you.
You try. During the holidays, I've had lessons in the noble art of self-defense, so there.
Where are you going to sit this time, Darcy?
I shall retain my own desk. It is an excellent position to sing the blackboard.
Yeah, listen, what a Darcy. You want to see the blooming blackboard?
No, you don't.
Cheek, eh? I'm going to ask you.
Yeah,
Grumpy. Out of the...
Oh, good morning, boys.
Morning, sir.
Sir. Well, ready to start lessons with a will.
Why, you're going to make yours?
Make my what?
Make your will.
Listen, I don't refer to a last will and testament, Smart. I'm talking about the conscious mental effort to profit by my teaching.
Oh, jolly good, sir.
What's jolly good?
That explanation, sir.
Oh, thank you, Darcy. Thank you. I've been reading those encyclopedias you lent me during the holidays. They're very interesting. Well, pay attention. Now, the first lesson we'll take algebra. Now, what do you know about algebra? Who knows what it is?
Please, sir.
Yes, Beckett.
I've seen one, sir, but I don't know what it is.
You've seen one?
Yes, sir.
Huh? I've heard of people seeing pink elephants, but I never... What did it look like?
Please, sir, it had stripes.
Right.
Yes, sir.
You're not thinking of a sergeant, are you?
No, sir. This had more than 3 stripes, sir, and it had long ears like a donkey.
Oh, that sounds like you, Smart. Look at it. What are you talking about, Beckett? Stripes and long ears like a donkey? Where'd you see this?
Please, sir, at the zoo, sir.
The zoo. Algebra at the zoo.
I know what he means.
Yeah?
He means a zebra.
Yes, sir. Isn't that what you said, sir?
No. I said algebra. They're very different thing altogether. Algebra is, anybody like to tell Beckett what algebra is?
Certainly, sir, I would.
Yeah, I thought you would. Well, carry on, Darcy. Carry on.
With pleasure, sir.
Yeah.
Algebra is a method of calculation which, reduced to its simplest terms, substitutes alphabetical symbols for known and unknown quantities, and thus enables us, by a series of equations, to deduce the actual numerical content of the unknown quantity, which is generally denoted by the alphabetical letter X. In other words...
Yeah, well, never mind about the other words now. You've used quite enough words as it is. So that's algebra, is it?
Yes, sir.
And I've been teaching it all this time and didn't know. And cleverer than I thought.
Oh, yeah?
What do you mean, oh, yeah?
Well, if you're so clever, why do you always correct Darcy's books first?
Why do I correct Darcy's book?
Yes, come on, we know.
Well, if you know, there's no need for me to tell you, is there?
Now, don't try to wriggle out of it.
I'm not trying to wriggle out of it.
Oh, yes, you are.
Not at all. You must know I correct Darcy's book first because...
Well,
because he happens to be sitting nearest to me. That's all. Quite a natural thing to do.
yes, I don't think. You correct his book first because that's the only way you can get to know the answer.
That's absolute piffle.
Oh, no, it isn't.
Oh, it is.
Oh, no, it isn't, and I can prove it.
Oh, can you?
Next time, you take my book first and Darcy's last.
I don't think you should accuse the headmaster of cribbing, Smart.
No.
After all, I'm not always right.
Well, blimey, when you're not, we all pay for it.
Just what do you mean by that?
Well, I shan't forget when you said there were 772 pounds in a hundredweight, just because Darcy's figure said so.
Got nothing at all to do with Darcy.
Oh, no?
772 pounds is the correct answer. That's what Darcy put me was right.
Excuse me, sir. I did not put 772. I wrote down the correct answer, which is 112. And I must admit that my ones, when glanced at quickly, do look rather like sevens.
Oh, I see. Well, in that case...
Just a moment, just a moment. What did you write down, Darcy?
112.
Oh, blimey, that's what I wrote down, too. And you marked my paper all wrong, you dirty brother. That proves it.
Not at all. It's a perfectly simple explanation. Instead of calculating in avoirdupois,
Eh?
I was calculating in troy-weight.
John. Troy and avoirdupois. You don't know the meaning of the word.
I certainly do. Troy-weight was invented by Helen of Troy. And avoirdupois comes from three French words. Avoir, to have, do, of the, and pois, peas.
Peas?
Yes.
Why peas?
Well, because in the reign of Louis XIV, they used peas as weights. See? So many peas to the magnum.
Please, sir.
Yes? What is it?
Please, sir. What did they do in the winter?
What did who do in the winter?
The shopkeepers, sir.
What do you mean, what did they do? They didn't shut up, if that's what you mean.
No, sir. I mean, what did the shopkeepers do, sir? They'd be out of season in the winter.
What are you talking about? Shopkeepers don't go out of season at all.
No, sir. No, sir. I mean the peas, sir.
Oh, the peas. Oh, they use tin peas then.
Yes, sir. But please, sir, wouldn't tins of peas weigh much heavier, sir?
Oh, well, look, they took them out of the tins and you shut up, keep quiet. Now, tell me, Darcy, what did you do during the holidays? Did you go to the pantomime?
Oh, dear me, no, sir.
No?
I spent many happy moments jotting down a few animadversions on the quantum theory. And then, purely as relaxation, I broke down the colour bands of the spectrum and reduced them to their respective primers. It was quite amusing.
Yes. Yes, I think it'll be much more amusing than the pantomime. Well, now, for today's lesson, we'll take a problem.
Yes, I've got one.
Yeah, oh, really smart, eh? Well, let's hear it. Listen carefully, boy.
Oh, you never mind them. You listen carefully. This is going to take all your brains.
Yeah, well, I am listening. Come on.
Well, a man's on one side of a river with
Yes.
a basket of cabbages, a goat, and a hyena.
Yeah, what?
Hyena. Now, he
Hyena?
wants to take the goat and the...
Yeah, wait. What's he doing with a hyena?
I don't know. He's on the bank of the river with a goat, a basket of cabbages, and a hyena. And he wants to get to the other side.
Well, I think he does, too. So would I if I had a hyena. Nasty things, hyenas.
No, you don't understand. He wants to take the hyena and the goat and the cabbages with him.
Well, I can understand he wanted to take the goat and the cabbages, but I can't think why he wants to bother with a hyena.
Please, sir.
Yes, Beckett?
What is a hyena, sir?
Yeah, oh, dear. Well, a hyena is a sort of, it's a similar thing to the, oh, you must have seen one in the zoo when you saw that algebra thing. They keep them in the same cage. You mean a laughing hyena, of course, don't you?
Listen, it doesn't matter if it was a laughing or a crying hyena. What does matter is that he wants to take the goat, the cabbages, and the hyena over the river.
Yeah.
But he's only got a boat big enough to take one thing at a time. Now, how does he take them all over?
One at a time, he just said so.
All right, clever Dick. Which does he take first?
Oh, don't see any matters. For the sake of argument, suppose he takes the cabbages.
What, leave the hyena and the goat on the other side?
I suppose so.
In that case, sir, the hyena will eat the goat.
Oh, well, all right, then take the hyena first.
Well, then the goat will eat the cabbages.
Well, then take the goat over first. I mean, the hyena won't eat the cabbages, even I know that.
Very well. You know, you're going to get yourself into such a mess in a minute. What does he take next?
The cabbages.
No, sir. In that eventuality, the goat will devour the cabbages while he returns for the hyena. And should he take the hyena over, the same thing will happen.
Well, does this fella know all this?
Of course he does.
And he sure wants to get him across?
Definitely.
Please, sir.
Yes.
Why don't they go round by the bridge?
Bridge?
Yes, sir.
Is the bridge smart?
No.
Oh.
Then, please, sir, how do all the others get across?
What others?
Well, the ones who haven't got a boat, sir.
Look, Beckett, don't bring anybody else into this. You've got quite enough trouble with goats and hyenas.
Well, come on. Haven't you got it yet?
Don't rush me, I'll get it. I wish I had Alfie's model Noah's Ark. I could work it out with the models.
Actually, sir, the problem is very simple.
Oh.
It cannot be stated in mathematical terms, as it is in point of fact an exercise in pure logic.
It can't be stated in mathematical terms. That's trouble.
Listen, Chuck.
Yes?
Don't you see that you've got to get them across so that the hyena can't eat the goat or the goat eat the cabbage?
I know all about it. Have you worked it out?
Well, of course I have.
Well, what do you make of it?
Well, he takes the goat over first, returns for the hyena.
Laughing hyena.
All right, the laughing hyena, which he leaves on the other side.
Yes. Are you whispering to it?
Oh, no, sir.
He takes the goat back with him and takes the cabbages over.
Yes.
Then he returns alone for the goat, see?
Yes, that's it. It's a very good attempt.
What do you mean good? It's perfect.
Well, it's not quite smart. It's very good, but you've forgotten one thing.
What's that?
The coat.
Oh, no, I never. He takes the goat over last.
I didn't say the goat, I said the coat.
What coat?
You see, I'll explain. You see, he took the goat over first and then rode back again, didn't he?
Yes.
Then he took the hyena over and brought the goat back with him.
Please, sir,
Yes.
what for, sir?
Let me... Because he can't leave both the hyena and the goat together on the other side. Don't interrupt me. But by now, he's very warm.
Yes, you're getting a bit hot, too.
Yes, well, you shut up, will you? Where was I, Darcy?
You're back on this side with the goat and the cabbages, having left the hyena on the other side.
Oh, yes, that's right, yes. Well, now, as I was saying, he's feeling very warm, so he takes his coat off and lays it on the bank. Next, he takes the cabbages over to the other side and leaves them with the laughing hyena, and he rows back. All he has to do now is to take the goat across, which he does, and the job is done. Simple.
Ah, there's just one thing you've forgotten, Mr. Clever Knob.
Oh, what's that?
The very thing you said I'd forgotten.
Oh?
His coat.
His coat?
Yes.
Oh.
According to you, he left his coat on the bank. Now you've got him on the other side with the cabbages, the goat, and the laughing hyena. Well, how's he going to get his coat?
Well, he just rode back for you, that's all.
Yes, but in that case, he must have left the goat, the cabbages, and the laughing hyena all together.
That's right, he did.
Yes, but the goat would have eaten the cabbages.
It did.
And the hyena would have eaten the goat.
It did.
Well, so all he had left was the hyena.
That's right. That's what the hyena was laughing about. Ring the bell, please.
You have been listening to the recording of the first in the new series of the Will Hay program, featuring Beryl Riggs, Clarence Wright, Charles Hawtrey, John Clark, and Dick Francis. The dance orchestra was conducted by Stanley Black, and the show produced by Alec Hay.